right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his young brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And what I want to get into today is going into the Lord, is hearing the groaning, of his elect. Okay? Because we're in a time now, all right, when you go into the scriptures, the Lord, spoke about an appointed time, and in the appointed time, he will begin to hear the cries of his people, okay? And the cries of his people will begin to line up with the will of the Lord. And how will that happen? How will that gap be bridged? Okay, well, let's go here. Let's get this in the book of Malachi chapter 4. All right, this is the book of Malachi chapter 4 in verse 5. And it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming and dreadful day of the Lord." And we know Elijah is speaking of John the Baptist. Okay, and John the Baptist came back in this time as Elder Abba Bivens. You see, Elijah came back as John the Baptist, all right, to be the forerunner for Yahweh Shai's first coming. Okay, and he came back again as Elder Abba Bivens, okay, before the second coming of Yahweh Shai. All right, and Elder Abba Bivens, he will usher in the spirit of Yahweh Shai before he physically came. Okay, and that's why we have the ministry of the prophets in this time, man, because the spirit of Yahweh Shai is what? The spirit of prophecy. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is prophecy. Okay? So the reason we have the testimony of prophecy because the spirit of Yahweh Shai, all right, has been turned loose in the earth amongst his prophets, man. Okay? And this what has, all right, the hopeful elect groaning, okay, and crying for salvation, man. Crying for deliverance, crying for help, crying for aid. Okay? Because there was a time when we didn't know what to cry for. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know who our power was. But what bridged the gap is the ministry of the prophets, man. All right? And it began with the Lord, all right, awakening, all right, high priest, Elder Abba Bivens. Okay? As we always go into, the 1969, 1970, okay, time frame, okay, when he had, all right, high priest Elder Abba Bivens go into, okay, Yahweh Shai, okay, and that bridged that gap, because now we have an understanding of what to cry for, okay, what to groan about, okay. Now we're complaining about the oppressor to our power. We're not marching. We're complaining to our power now. We know who to bring our complaint to. Okay? Because you look at our people, well, they will complain, all right, to Esau about Esau. They will march, all right, they'll complain to each other. Okay? They had, Christianity, Jesus, and, then some Jake went to Islam. Okay? But this word going forth, all right, it set us on the path. Okay, it redirected our complaints, okay, to our power. Okay, and now our power is hearing our groaning, But first it began with us, repenting and having faith. Okay, because we had to come correct to the Most High. We couldn't just come to him, okay, as that old man. We had to start becoming that new creature, and then he will begin to start accepting, our complaints. And now what we're seeing, the Lord is doing something about our complaints, man. Matter of fact, let's keep reading. And it says, "And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse," man. Okay, so he turned the heart of the children to the fathers. What you go into the fathers, like I said, you have your high priest, Elder our Bibbins, High Priest Yaquab, okay, Masha, okay, High Priest Masha, King Masha, because we know who that is, okay? But the hearts of, the children will turn back to the fathers, okay? Because the Lord put the spirit on the fathers, okay, to turn to him, you see? So the elect, all right, was redirected back to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, okay, through the fathers, man, through our spiritual fathers, man. All right, and today, the legacy is continued through, all right, the elder apostles, okay, of today, man. Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle, all right, Gabar, Elder Apostle Okah, Elder Apostle Ariamla, man. Okay, which is we're following those men and they follow Yahweh Shai. Okay, and following those men is making us pleasing to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. As we follow them, as they follow Yahweh Shai, is making the church pleasing to Yahweh Shai. Okay, to where now he's giving an ear to our groaning, and this is why we see so much happening so fast, man. The Lord is hearing them prayers, all them prayers that we've been praying. Now the Lord is really speeding it up, man. Hey, this thing is sped up. This thing is happening quick. Hey, the Lord has really, all right, hit the gas on prophecy, man, because he's hearing the groaning of his people. Okay, this is Exodus 6 and 5. It says, "And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and have remembered my covenant," man. So the Lord is finna make good on that covenant, man. We have a new covenant, and Yahweh Shai, he already shed the blood. He was that sacrifice for that new covenant. Okay, so the Lord is getting ready to bring his people, the remnant, beginning with the remnant, hopeful elect, into a new covenant, man. Okay, but before he does that, this world has to be taken down. This age has to be taken down. So this is why he's accelerating the destruction of this age, man. Because this age has to be taken down before we come into this new covenant, man. Okay, so as we're groaning, all right, as we're praying and we're complaining to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, as we're coming back to our power, through faith and repentance and groaning and complaining, he's getting ready to make a move, man. The Lord is making moves. Okay? And it says, "Wherefore said unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians." I will bring you out from the burdens of the Egyptians, man. And this is heavy as we go into Exodus and what we're coming into the Passover, man. You gotta think about how heavy this is, man. The Lord got World War III started before the Passover, man. You see, the Lord, all right, hey, the second Exodus is in the making. You see, the second Exodus is in the making, man. All right, the Lord getting ready to make big moves for his people. The Lord is making big moves for his people, man. Okay? It said, "Wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, and will bring you out from the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgment," man. And that stretched out arm is Yahweh Shai, man. And the Lord finna bring us from under the burdens of the heathen, man. On the Egypt, which is Esau, man. We finna be, hey, the Lord finna break this man up, man. These burdens, these yokes of this society that's on us, man. Yahweh Shai coming to break this up, man. He finna remove these burdens. And that's why he got Esau, he putting all this pressure on Esau. The Lord got pressure on Esau, man. Esau not comfortable in these times, man. The Lord putting pressure on this nigga, man. Yahweh Shai got pressure on Esau, man. Okay? So what we're seeing happening now, all right, is these devils trying to scramble, all right, to pull off their enterprise, man. And it's going to fail. And we should be able to see this nigga failing, man. This nigga is finna fail. Okay? And the Lord finna take this burden off of us, man. Oh, what a time to be in, man. This is a beautiful time. Okay? So the Lord is hearing, the groanings, all right, of, his people, man. Of their remnant. You see? Because it's the prayers of the remnant, all right, that's piercing the clouds, man. Okay? So when you go from there, Let's get this real quick in. Um, yep, it's already there. This is Second Ezra, chapter 15. Okay, and in verse 6, it says, "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." You know, because the Lord is only going to allow the devil to get so far, man. Because he's just getting further into wickedness, man. That's all Esau was doing. Every agenda he got, all right, is just more wickedness going for. He's all about forwarding his wickedness, man. Okay? That's why the earth is just exceedingly polluted with wickedness, especially over here in the West, man. Especially here in America, man. You know, that's why America's going to be clean dissolved, man. America's going to be completely wiped off the map. Okay? Because this is the source, this is the platform of wickedness in the earth. This is the standard of wickedness, man. Okay? This is the catalyst for wickedness in the earth is here in America, man. Okay? But wickedness, all right, their hurtful works are being fulfilled. All right? Because this devil's rulership is hurtful to the earth, man. It's hurtful to people. It's hurtful to creation, to life, man. Okay? And that's one of the things that we begin to cry out about more and more. Like, Lord, man, don't stop this nigga, man. You know? Baba Kasha. Or ball, man. You know? This nigga is doing way too much. Okay? And the Lord is hearing these prayers, man. That's why we see action being taken, man. You know, it said, "Therefore said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually," man. Okay, so the Lord is hearing these complaints, but first we have to understand who to complain to and what to complain about. Okay? And that comes through the teaching of this word. You see, now we know who to complain to and what to complain about. Okay? And what to request, man. We want Yahweh Shah to come establish a righteous kingdom, the throne of David, man. Okay? We want to see the throne of David established in the earth, man. In righteousness, man. That's what we want. That's what we desire now. Okay? And it says, and therefore, said the Lord, I will avenge them and receive them unto me. All right, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. You know, because you know we come to times where there's going to be martyrs, you know, for this word. Okay? So you're going to have those that are martyred. All right? And they're going to be resurrected at the return of Yahushua. See, Yahushua is coming to make everything right. Everyone that, you know, the Lord allows Esau, you know, to put to death for this word. Okay? Yahushua is going to come overturn that, man. Okay? Yahushua is coming to move Esau and all these heathens from any form of authority, man. Okay? And this has, you know, this is the Lord hearing our groaning. Okay? When you see World War III starting, when you see the MOTB, okay, being pushed in data centers and digital ID and, you know, digital this and, you know, this shutting down and layoffs and everything that we see is the Lord hearing our groaning. The Lord is hearing our cry. Okay? It was always set up. It was always an appointed time. Okay, when you go here. Let's get this real quick. It was always an appointed time when the Lord will begin to hear the groaning of his people. Okay? And then he will what? He will intervene. Okay? This is on 2 Corinthians 6:2. It said, "For he said, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation I have secured thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation." Okay? You read this in the NLT. "For the Most High says, at just the right time I heard you. On the day of salvation I helped you. Indeed, the right time is now Today is the day of salvation, and we in the time of salvation, man. This is a time of deliverance, man. This is a time, all right, hey, that the Lord's finna redeem his people, man. This is a time when Yahweh Shai is finna triumph in the earth, man. A victory for the righteous, man. And it's gonna be forever, man. This time is forever. You know? So we in some beautiful times, man. The Lord is hearing our groanings, man. You look at the news, that's the Lord hearing our groanings, man. You know, so just wanted to tap into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I'll say shalom. Kwame Shalom, Baba Ba Shalom.